Good day, and good to see you in this edition of Pixel Pet News. Recently, there were conflicts in Iberia, there were wars between Russia and Ukraine, and the world is slowly being consumed by a black void. Let us go straight to the Russo-Ukrainian front first. The ongoing skirmish has escalated to a full-blown war that reportedly lasted 9 days. The war seems to have started by an Ukrainian raid on a piece of Russian art that depicts a woman holding a Russian Empire flag. This raid seems to have been started as a spur-of-the-moment idea, but the attack on that particular piece of art was known by almost every player by the end of the war. At the start, it appears that the Russians were outnumbered on that piece of art, so they decided to inform others of this event. And Russia, as one of the nations that were helping to defend Italy from the last report, formed an alliance called the United Northern Factions, or UNF for short. UNF heard about the attack, and although only recently founded and already facing many conflicts around the world, some players seem to have tried and retake the Russian art. There were many failed attempts, and the conflict continued, focusing on Ukrainian art. Later, the Ukrainians raided the Russian background, to which every nation that disliked the Ukrainian community responded by raiding all of Ukraine and their art. The conflict seemed to go like this for about a week. Players from all around the world join in under the pretenses that Ukraine is false flagging as scratch pixels so other nations won't defend Russia. But after a week, the battle moved to gilded bot reports, where users gathered many reports about the misconduct of Ukrainian faction by the use of bots and alternative IPs. A user stated, and I quote, "I have a video for every stupid comment Ukraine made." And it also seems that the user received threats by the Ukrainian factions when the reports were starting to come out. I wonder what they were scared of. In the end, this seemed to be a pointless attempt to intimidate the defenders of the Russian art. And it also seems that there were many comments exchanged because the sections has plenty of comments and videos. The Ukrainians attempted to share their side of the story and even a few videos themselves. But at the end of the day, the comments stopped. And so did the Ukrainian resistance soon after. After 9 whole days of constant warfare, Russia was completely restored and the raids on the Ukrainian faction toned down. One of our new reporters managed to get an interview with one of the leaders of the Ukrainian faction.
Hello to all Pixel Planet community. I am 3224, your new journalist for the Pixel Planet News. I'll be interviewing guests here, asking about in-game situations and opinions. For this first interview, I'll be talking to one of the Ukrainian leaders, Mr. Anthony. Who are you, and who do you represent?
Hi guys, I'm Anthony and I'm one of the leaders of Ukrainians on Pixel Planet.
Thoughts on the actual UKR versus Russia conflict over the Russian girl pixel art?
Sometime in December we were attacked by some unknown commies. As we had reason to suspect Russians of this, I mean Russians from Russian Empire, who are Russian main faction. We decided to redraw Russian girl into Lenin with a commie flag, just for lulz. Later we have redrawn it again. To Putin, by the way. In early January they were griefing our 1-bit and moon arts, so we had decided to give feedback, and we started to delete Russian moon art piece by piece. They didn't have enough people to defend it and didn't even want to negotiate to stop everyday war. So, as it happens, we have deleted the whole Russian main art on the moon in a month. Art was a map of the Russian Empire. Then was a truce. We were just building and defending our new art on the moon where Russian art was. Then, a few weeks ago, Russian had attacked our British flag yet again, and they had attacked our new moon art, more powerful, and we wanted to redraw the girl again, after a few months. It was Nazi girl, you may know it. By the way, the idea of Nazi character came when some janitor put small swastika symbols on the girl when we had finished our comic character in December. In that regard, we were under some grief, so we even had to do same against Russian on the Earth. We were defending the girl 1 week and then gave it back as planned. Russians knew about we wanted to defend Nazi girl only 1 week, but anyway, after unsuccessful tries to defend her, they started an attack as if we deleted all this art or didn't want to give her back. Now there is a lul, but we are preparing new templates with new character for that girl. There are some really funny things here.
What's your opinion on the fictionary groups?
The more different groups of people, the better. It's obvious that fictional factions draw their own arts and often it looks really nice. It would be very tired to see only flags and borders if there were only nation groups. And now I give the word to the President of Ukraine.
Yep, that's me, the President of Ukraine. Vitaly Zelensky gave the order to make the girl in Russia, and we are financing Ukrainian Pixel Virus and PixelPlanet.fun as our predecessors.
That's it for the first interview of the Pixel Planet News. See you all on the next.
In the end, the great Ukrainian faction was reported to use tactics like false flagging as they build the Nazi flag to steer the hatred between crowd and Russian Empire faction. The use of proxies with what seems to be plenty of evidence, yet they denied it until the moment when the evidence was reported. The use of bots to fend off raids on their territory, and allegedly even the use of bots to build their art on the moon canvas. The Ukrainians may have stopped defending, but their reputation will take some time to recover, and also the names of those who represent them. But then again, you can make your own judgment on the situations by looking at the reports yourself. The game has many groups constantly developing and building their small or great projects. One of these groups are only known to us by the name of Black Void. This project is a black background spreading out like corruption, devouring everything in its sights. A bit like everyone's favorite attraction, the Fibonacci. They are recently expanding very slowly, but it used to be much greater. But it was slowly rolled back due to it being mostly made by bots. This bot is used a lot by pixeliers, and it is known as Darkness Bot, which has a motto, "Make Void Great Again." Who knows, maybe someday it will awaken one more time. This time we have a suggestion from ICB, who asked if we can have a small canvas that isn't the COVID map. Most people didn't agree with the suggestion, but Mick recommended one of the options they mentioned previously. Besides the Russian and Ukrainian bot reports, there was also a report by player Lorca, who stated that there were proxies being used by the Catalans to fend off the Spanish players. D0016 mentioned that it just looks like a lot of players fighting each other, to which the reporter responded that he's blind if he doesn't see the cheats, to which the moderator responded that it looks to him like the black zone next to the reported area looks botted instead. We had a report that this was most likely a confusion between the Spanish players because the Catalans came in with one of the largest forces in Pixel Planet. Although they are one of the biggest factions right now, there are a maximum number of 20 active players among them, which have been fighting what appears to be a proxy attack ever since Catalonia was created, and these days most of Catalonia is protected because of it, still awaiting the judgment of the moderator. The famous player Martinez recommended the creation of the Pixel Papacy, where our Christian nation of Pixel Planet would unite under one selected ruler who would get some bonuses, like calling in the Crusades and some diplomatic favors. He's also collecting the best pixel art out there in Pixel Planet that you can find. You might have to reverse your standards for this project though. Tachyon made a poll asking if single users should be allowed to use multiple devices or not. Most people seem to agree with the decision of the use of 2 devices maximum per user. If you are interested in the history of PixelPlanet.fun, you can find more information about what the platform looked like before the implementation of History Mode by going to the Gilded Forum, where there is a collection of images that were collected before History Mode was a thing. Fantastic news, one of Iron Man's lizards celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday to you! Infinite Cut Beta created a guide to Pixel Planet in English if you want to read it to learn the basics of Pixel Planet. And Power Gap 76 attacked the mod racers because of their lack of care for Pixel Planet when it comes to people who use proxies. Nectar said that what he says is valid, but that he should be more polite when talking to the administration if he wants to state his points, since he's not very favored by them. Quite a lot of drama, it seems, in the Pixel Planet community, but that shouldn't stay in the way of any user to keep on pixeling.